Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. This video is one I've been promising you that I was going to do. It is about my OSCE. For those of you who don't know me, I am Kirsty and I am a 29-year-old mature adult nursing student and I'm studying at Northumbria University. And just last week I took part in my very first ever clinical assessment, which is known as an OSCE. And what happens is you do observations on a mannequin that is totally computerised and motorised, and then you have to go give a handover, and then you have to record the details of that handover. And I just thought I'd tell you about my experience and what happened in my OSCE. So this is it. Now I'm not going to lie, the day of my OSCE was a bit fraught because the day before my left eye started irritating me really badly. It would not stop watering and I couldn't see out of it hardly. So at like 5 o'clock in the morning I ended up walking from here to the RVI to wait in A&E for about 3 hours, and eventually to be seen by an A&E doctor and then an A&E eye doctor who told me I had viral conjunctivitis in that eye. And what was worse was they said to me, we can't do anything about it because it's viral, you just need to take painkillers and you can buy stuff from the pharmacist to like ease it. And I was like, how the heck am I supposed to do this exam at 2:30 in the afternoon? I got out about 10 o'clock, 10:15ish, and my exam wasn't until 2:30. And I was like thinking, how am I going to do this? I can't blimmin' see. But I stopped at Superdrug on the way home. I got some eye bath stuff and some eye wipes, loaded up on the paracetamol as best I could, and I tried to sleep for a little bit when I got in. I think I slept for about an hour. Anyway, so when I woke up, my eyes started to feel a little bit better. It wasn't 100%, but I thought it might just get me through my exam anyway. I might just be able to manage. So I went off, I got to my university campus for 2:30. The examens were running a bit late, so we had to wait in this lecture theatre and wait for us to be called by our GT. And I'm not gonna lie, I really started cacking myself when my GT announced my name along with 2 other people. And then we got taken into this room and our GT explained a little bit about the OSCE again, making sure we were clear on everything, and asked if we had any questions. We then got introduced to our individual invigilators and we were given a file with all the paperwork that we were supposed to take round with us to each of the 3 stations. And I was a yellow colour, so I had to go to the yellow rooms, and then Patrick was a green, I think, and he had to go to the green rooms, and someone else was a red, so they had to go to the red rooms. And this invigilator like stays with you the whole way round the 3 stations that you go to, because you go to different rooms. And mine was really nice, he was really chatty. We had to wait before I could go into my first station because somebody was already in there. But it gave me the chance beforehand where I said to my invigilator, I can't remember his name, that I wanted to be told by him when I had 5 minutes left out of the 10 minutes you were given for station 1. And I also said to him I want a warning when I've got 2 minutes. And that 2 minutes is important because then it would have given me enough time to finish whatever observation I was doing and to then clean everything and finish. So I got called in. I had to give a piece of my paperwork out of the file that I had to the examiner, who was a nice guy, and he said just start whenever you're ready, and he started the 10 minutes when I said okay, and it was good. I introduced myself to the patient and then I washed my hands, and then I started to do all my observations. I got a warning for 5 minutes, but I wasn't too sure about a couple of my observations. I wasn't sure on my pulse and I wasn't sure on my BP because I was getting different readings, and those kind of take a while because you need a minute for both. So if you're having to repeat those again, then it can take a bit of time. Some observations like the temperature and the oxygen sats and the capillary refill, you just look at the examiner after saying to your patient, I'm going to do that, and the examiner gives you the result. And so I wish I'd just done those first and got those out the way, because then I would have had more time to do the respiration rate and the BP and the pulse. But for some reason I just decided to go down the sheet that we were given, the OBS chart sheet, and we have to fill it in. I found it easy to fill it in as I went along. And so because I went back to check the BP and the pulse, and I was counting, like, the invigilator decided to go against my wishes and not tell me when I had 2 minutes left. So I'm doing this BP, and I think I've got it right. I couldn't be sure if it was 96/66 or 94/66, and I kept having to listen really hard. The invigilator did not tell me I had 2 minutes, so I'm doing it, and all of a sudden the examiner goes, time's up, and I was gutted. I was just about to wash my hands again to finish, but that meant I hadn't got time to disinfect all the equipment, which on the marking sheet that I'd given the examiner, one of the key components you have to meet is to disinfect your equipment after you've done your observations, and obviously I hadn't done that, so straight away I knew I'd failed station 1. The examiner then asked me what my obs were for the BP, the pulse and the respiration rate, and I gave him them, and then he didn't say anything to me about whether I passed or failed. He just handed the sheet to the invigilator, and then that was it. I was free to leave the room, but I was like, I haven't disinfected, I haven't washed my hands, and I was freaking out big style. But then I thought, I'm just gonna have to get on with the rest of the exam. So I came out of that room, and a few minutes later I got taken into station 2, where, based on all the information that I had on my information sheet, like my data sheet where I put in the OBS, I then had to hand it over to a mentor who, in an S-bar, which is like the handover, and you basically say about your background of your patient and what their previous OBS were and then what your OBS were, and you basically end it by saying, I don't know what's wrong with this patient, but he's deteriorating, he's very poorly, we need someone to come see him now. And that should have been the end of that. However, the examiner who I had in that room, I don't know what her deal was, but she then turned me on my head a little bit, and like, she was like, so what do you think we should do now? What do you recommend we do? And I'm like, well, that's the information I need from you, because I need to write it down for the next station. Like, I don't know what's wrong with this person, with this patient. Like, it was totally not, that should not have been part of the exam really, I don't think. But so I was a bit like, well, we obviously need to call an on-call doctor right away. She was like, yeah. And what about observations? Do we keep observing him every 4 hours? And I was like, oh, I don't know. And I got really stuck, and she went, well, what was your news score? Have a look, and then look at the back of the sheet. And I was like, oh, well, we need to do observations more frequently. And she was like, yep, how frequently? And I was like, I don't know. This isn't like, we never got prepared for this bit. Like, there wasn't much preparation at all, like, on that, how to answer that. But she's like, well, maybe 15 minutes would be a good idea. And I was like, yeah, okay, that's fine. Well, I'll write that down then to write in my notes for the station 3. So she was like, okay, and what else do you need to tell me? And like, I'd handed over all the OBS, but she's like, in future, make sure you tell people about the capillary refill. And I was like, seriously? So yeah, I felt like I did the best I could in station 2. I think I've passed station 2. But while I was in station 2, thinking about what I wanted to tell the woman, because I gave myself 5 minutes to write down what I wanted to tell her before I did the handover. I could see the marking sheet from station 1, and all I could see in the grey boxes was 3 crosses, and I was like, oh no, that means I failed, because I'm only really allowed 1 grey box to get wrong, and I've got 3, so I felt pretty rubbish at that point. Station 3 was fine. I wrote down all the equipment, all the information I had on the S-bar basically, and the main components to pass station 3, you have to write your name, like you have to print it, then you have to do your signature, your job title and the date and time. Those are the main things, but then you have to write in all the information about the patient as well as like notes and stuff. So I did that and that was fine. And then that was it really, free to go. I do find out the results of my OSCE on the 24th of July, so yeah, I'm fully expecting that I'm going to have to retake station 1 again, and that will happen next year. But yeah, everyone's saying to me, oh, you've probably passed, you know. There is a margin on each of the observations to get wrong, like you're allowed to get them wrong a little bit either side, but I don't know, I've got a really bad feeling that I'm way out, especially with the pulse, because I suck at doing the pulses on the mannequins. They're all set up on machines and that, and it's just counting the pulse and feeling the heartbeat. Like, I always get it wrong and I always go well over. So I'm feeling a bit rubbish, but I can't let it get me down, because tomorrow I go to the Freeman Hospital to do my induction, and then on Tuesday I'm actually going to the hospital I'm going to be spending the next 4 weeks at. So I've got lots of human patients to practice on, and all I can think is just get as much practice in as possible, and next year I should hopefully pass. So that was my OSCE video, telling you all about it. Let me know if you're a student nurse and you're about to become a student nurse and you're worried about OSCEs and exams and things. I can give you some guidance and shed some light on things, but again, I am only in my first semester myself, so I'm not too clear. Comment down below, like I say, with any questions, anything you want to ask me about adult nursing, and I will try and answer your questions. Give this video a like if you did, hit subscribe, and I will see you next time, guys, for future videos. Bye for now.